here's the story we heard. So Trey Wingo reporting Aaron and the Jets had conversations. Aaron is willing to go to New York. He's willing to listen to New York. Tyler Dunn, who's covered the Packers for years, said, remember, the Packers must have given the quarterback permission to speak to the Jets. Otherwise, it's tampering. So things are happening. Here's what's fascinating. I'm not sure what universe we live in or what the universe is telling us. Even though one is from the South and one is from California, look at the similarities as of this morning if Aaron goes to the Jets between Aaron and Brett Favre. So they both fell in the draft. Favre, there were rumors he was a party guy. Aaron, people thought he was kind of mechanical. So let's start with that. Both fell in the draft. Okay. Secondly, neither was great the first year they were allowed to be a starter. They were good. They were talented. They weren't great. They became unbelievable. And for about 10 to 11 years in their prime were two of the greatest quarterbacks ever, not just Packer quarterbacks. Then, year 12, 13 in Green Bay, they start talking about retirement a lot, annoying the front office. Both were known as having great regular season success, multiple MVPs, often doing it without multiple great receivers, but not a ton of playoff success, rather disappointing for both, getting one Super Bowl win each. Favre leaves after year 15. Aaron this morning could leave after year 16 as a starter, and both go to the desperate Jets, and it doesn't end there. Both the Jets with Favre and the Jets potentially with Aaron had a defensive coach, Mangini and Robert Saleh, coming off an awful end of the season. What universe are we in? This only means one thing, that Aaron Rodgers will be the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings in 2024. That is all this can mean. But I go back to something I call the Green Bay quarterback syndrome. Because there's no owner, you essentially run the franchise. You have a stable front office, Favre and Aaron Rodgers, but you can kind of push them around because you become so iconic. It's a friendly small-town media. There's no owner. Everybody feels like they're a shareholder, and you become almost a messiah. And when you're given too much power, whether it's a college basketball coach or a star quarterback, you get very comfortable and want to do things your way. And Aaron now is demanding, I want Randall Cobb. And Favre demanded, I'm not changing to a new offensive coordinator or a new offense. So it's a little bit of the Green Bay quarterback system. You don't always get your way. Tom Brady was the GOAT. He didn't always get his way with Belichick. He didn't. They drafted Garoppolo. He didn't always get his way. Peyton Manning in Indy. He didn't always get his way. In Denver, Elway made him take a pay cut. Peyton Manning didn't always get his way. I mean, Mahomes signed a team-friendly contract, and they let Tyreek Hill go. Mahomes doesn't always get his way. Favre and Aaron always get their way. So, you get very content. You have a lot of power. You have a lot of leverage. Both are getting grumpy as they get older. And so the stories this morning is that Aaron was given permission to talk to the Jets and would be willing to go to the New York Jets. It'd make them better. How much better? I'm not sure. Defensive coach, losing record. They don't have a very good offensive line. The skill players for the Jets are kids. Aaron's not a babysitter. He's not a babysitter. That is not his personality. And I can respect that. Aaron's like, it's like the Warriors with Steph Curry. Steph Curry's got no interest playing with Kuminga, Wiseman, or Moses Moody unless they're ready to win a championship. I get it. LeBron James doesn't like playing with young guys. He's like, I'm not playing with rookies. He could have played with Andrew Wiggins as a rookie. He said, give me Kevin Love. He goes, give me J.R. Smith. Give me Kyrie Irving. I'm not going to play with rookies. Brady didn't love playing with rookies. LeBron doesn't. I can't just beat up on Aaron Rodgers because he doesn't want to play with kids. I got to be fair about this. Aaron doesn't like to play with kids. He doesn't want to be a babysitter. Geno Smith, not usually a topic on this show, and a surprisingly effective quarterback last year, signed a $105 million three-year contract with Seattle. So expect a lot of the money to be up front. So it's essentially a 2-year contract Seattle could wiggle out of in the third year. That's my guess. He gets $50, $60 million up front first year or two. So they're 2 years in, third year they could be in or they could move off him. That's my guess. And that would lead me to believe Seattle with 2 first-round picks, including the 5th, would take a quarterback. So right now, here's the top of the draft board, top 5 picks. As of March 7th today, this would be my guess. I don't really do mock drafts. I play with them all day, but they're impossible. I think the Bears need an edge. They would take Will Anderson. This is if they can't move down. Houston takes Bryce Young. That's who I would take. Jalen Carter is the 3rd best player. The guy's a game wrecker. He's the best defensive line prospect in some time. I think Arizona doesn't care about the bad PR. If he's available, they'd take him. I think Indianapolis gets C.J. Stroud, played in the Midwest. Looks like to me, the little Justin Herbert, very capable. Then Seattle, and this is where it gets really interesting to me. I'd make a prediction here. Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. Again, they've signed Geno. It'll be front-loaded. It's a 2-year deal they can move off on, is what I would guess. So they want to get somebody in and let him sit. So here's what I know about Pete Carroll. He hates interceptions. He is very old school. Hates them. Will Levis can get sloppy. Big arm, big brain, mom went to Yale, grandfather Ivy League, makes it's a little casual. Pete hates that. That's why I never got Drew Lock to the Seahawks. Drew Lock's got a big arm. He's really way too casual with the football. Will Levis, who I think is really talented, could be. Turnoff. Anthony Richardson, though, is so Pete Carroll, you can taste it. Why? Pete Carroll, when he was at USC and when he's with the Seahawks, he loves projects and big, unique bodies. DK Metcalf was plummeting. And Pete Carroll's like, nah, and nobody built like that in the NFL wide receiver. I'll fix him. He did. Cam Chancellor was this 6'3", 230-pound safety. Really big. Pete's like, I'll take him. Unique size. Percy Harvin years ago, who had migraines, couldn't stay on the field. Pete's like, nobody runs like him. Fastest guy in the league. He was Tyreek Hill before Tyreek Hill. We'll take him. He rarely played, but he was unique. Richard Sherman, a lanky, unusually long corner out of Stanford. Pete's like, he's a project. I'll take him. Pete loves, if you give unique size, you have unique speed, and you need a teacher. Pete's a great teacher. I know several people who have been in that locker room. He is one of the NFL's best teachers, and Pete likes to mold you. They've said for years and years, Pete's better with young players than he is with veterans because he's got the same kind of stories over and over. He's an older coach, right? So he's got a lot of old stories, and after about 5 or 6 years, some of the old guys kind of wear out. But Pete is amazing. That's why he was such a great college coach. He's amazing with guys first 4 or 5 years in the league, or projects like Geno Smith, who, by the way, 6'3.5", 220, 225, kind of a big guy. Pete bought into him. Drew Lock has more arm talent. Drew Lock's smaller. He doesn't play with a great deal of urgency. Geno Smith is coachable, bigger. So Pete's really into that. He likes unique size, unique speed. He'll mold him. Anthony Richardson, to me, feels so much like a Pete Carroll pick, especially with a front-loaded Geno Smith contract where you can learn for 2 years and they can just put you on some red zone packages, play occasionally, be an absolute backup, but used to fortify Seattle's offense in 3rd and short, red zone situations. Geno can move, but he's not a great runner. Seattle hit 6 home runs. Their first 6 picks last year all hit, meaning they got 2 first-round picks. They got 2 second-round picks. They have 2 fourth-round picks. They can take some gambles here. Seattle doesn't have to hit on every draft pick. They hit on their first 6 last year. They got 2 tackles, a star running back, 2 corners. They got an edge rusher. Everything worked for them. So they got 2 firsts. Roll the dice with an unbelievable, maybe the best athlete in the draft. Roll the dice on him. Boy, that feels like what Seattle's going to do. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.